Welcome to the show, everybody. Today we're talking about the week in review. Welcome.
Welcome.
So, Jacob, we had a week all right, and we started it off with a 100 subscribers special, and we reviewed the film Stand and Deliver. What are your thoughts?
It was fun because I've been wanting to, do this for a while, and we both have talked about it, and we thought this would have been a good time to do it with our 100 subscriber, and now we have 100 plus, correct? And so, looking at this movie, we both liked it. Of course, that's not a surprise. We both enjoyed the acting and the story and so forth. But you know what? I'm always interested in history. I'm always just interested in what happened after Escalante left, and of course, he went onto another school, and Garfield program did pretty well a little bit after he left, but not too long after they started having a little more of a downfall. And it just shows you that he and this other teacher, I think it was the last name was Jimenez, they had a profound effect on that school, on those students, to get those test scores to pass in the AP exam. And what a special man he was. And it's just so sad that he's not with us any longer. But he had a profound effect at Garfield High School.
He did, and there's no substitution. This is probably a cliche, but there's no substitute for hard work and ganas. So you say he left, and the program, wasn't quite the same, but it requires the equal amount of work or talent or whatever. It's not just something that's going to magically stay in place after somebody leaves. You have to pick up the slack. Not that the people who replaced him were nothing. I'm just saying,
Right.
There is hard work involved. I wanted to point out something that, we talk about that this film is popular with teachers, as it should be. Jaime Escalante had a goal, and it was the AP test for the students to take. They reached toward a goal, and he had an opportunity to watch his kids shine. So there's a reward for that. There's a reward. My question is, are teachers setting themselves up for something similar? Because if there isn't something to, now I'm not saying this is always the case for every teacher, but I think it's a useful strategy to set the students up for an opportunity to shine, because it's a reward for a teacher. I don't want to say a feather in your cap, but it's something to look forward to. So I know some schools do exhibitions where they allow their students to demonstrate the year of learning, and they will do some kind of presentation, a performance, and it's a buildup of that learning through the year, and it's a real good climax to what's happened. The other thing is what I've done for myself is that I build like this kind of America's Got Talent thing, where students work on songs and plays and skits and drama, and at the end of the year they show off their skills. I say this because it's exciting, and it you want to show other people what you're doing in some way. It's just a recommendation I have because it's
One year,
exciting.
yeah, I think so, at one school you're at, you did portfolios, as I remember. I think it was exhibitions.
Exhibitions.
That's what it was.
So, like I mentioned, right now, exhibitions is something I used to do at a different school,
Okay.
and it demonstrates student achievement. And of course, my thing is acting and comedy and things like that. And it was really very rewarding to see other teachers and parents watch students perform and write their own stuff at times. And it's a worthwhile thing if you want to see your students and yourself put on display. So the second video we did was on LAUSD changing their grading policies a little bit at a time. I think it's slowly going to be rolled in. What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, we're calling it master learning and grading. I think you and I talked about, it's pretty much the same thing, standard-based grading. And I was just talking to a teacher this afternoon regarding that, and how we're all still kind of not sure exactly what's being expected of us. And I think that was what I shared in the video, is that it's just the way it was rolled out. And it doesn't mean that a lot of the components are not worthy, and they are. And you and I have talked about it regarding the no zeros, regarding accepting late work, maybe even no to extra credit, and so forth. And I think that it's all about communication. I think that that could be for anything that the district or your administration goes over with you. You always want to be communicated to. Actually, even in life, isn't that true? I mean, with your family and so forth, you
What are you
always want to
saying?
be clarity.
You want to be communicated to? What does that mean?
We want to be communicated to regarding the expectations that are given to us clearly.
So teachers want to hear the expectations from admin
clearly
about the new grading policy.
Yeah, they've shared it, but we had a lot of questions, and they didn't have a lot of answers for us. And I think they're getting it now, because to be fair to the admin at our school, and I think it's a lot of schools, they're still not really clear, but I think they're starting to become more clear. And I think this might have been a little bit more effective if it was done in the summer, give us a little more time to process it, to, mull it over in our heads. And so I think that was just an error on the district's part.
Yep. You're right. I mean, it's good to prepare somebody over the summer. One good way to start is to read this book.
There you go.
And watch our video. That's one thing. It's such a great way of understanding and approaching your class too. I had a student this week who was, while I was reading to we were in reading groups. While I was reading to the other students, he was sort of drawing on a piece of paper. But instead of telling him, now I would have told him 4 years ago maybe, hey, can you put your pen down and listen? But through an assessment I gave him 2 weeks ago, I had a strong inkling. He heard everything I was reading. He was ahead. He's on a different level. We can't look at our students as the same. And sure enough, he's demonstrating that he has mastered that standard. He's understanding the thing I was already teaching, and he can go on ahead. And sometimes you have to do that. And I don't need to redirect a kid who doesn't need to be redirected if they already know the standard. And that's hard to accept, but it's okay. We can breathe in. We have individuals in our class.
Would you say that's differentiating instruction, where there's kids who are really further along, have them go ahead, and the ones that you're working with, continue working with them? It's just so the ones that are ahead can master the next standard.
So there's the real, you're right, but in the real world, we have to understand that there are times when we aren't able to exactly spell out what going ahead means. So if going ahead means he's just going to draw on his piece of paper while I read, that's fine. He can do that. He's in another place until I give him something specialized, something different. But but it's important to know where our students are at and to treat them as individuals. So this type of grading allows us to do it better, or more effectively. So the last video we did was on the teaching of horror fiction. And what are your thoughts about that?
I thought it was, I've actually had to mull it over. That part of the video was the one that really, I want to say, had the most impact on me, but the one I was thinking about the most. And I'll tell you why. It was because I thought it was great that you had the documents ready to look at right away. We hit the standard first, right? And the objectives, and what you really want to do. You can't get into a lesson without the standard objectives. And then we went into different examples for the kids. And not only that, you showed your example. And so you could model it for students, because this is really for students, but at the same time, it's for teachers who are watching, who want to know how to get going in their class, if they want to teach this in their class regarding horror fiction, right? And then you have that example of that student. That was a great example. And I just felt like you could see the elements that you had been talking about in that document, which made it real to me. I was like, oh, this is really, you broke it really well. And I think people out there want to see things like this, Ruben, and I thought it was a good job by you.
Thank you. I was reflecting on this.
Mhm.
For those of you who are interested or who are about to teach fiction, and when I say fiction, maybe like little short stories like this or even longer form, perhaps, I will say that there is nothing, so don't be discouraged by what I'm about to say because there's an addendum. There is nothing more soul crushing than to read a short story that is so poorly written, badly formatted, hard to read, cliche riddled. It's hard. It weighs on the soul. Okay. There's nothing worse. So get ready for that if you're about to embark on it, because you will see that. However, there is nothing better than to see something like that elevated to the next stage. It gives me goosebumps when I saw a couple of these drafts take on a second, third draft because the students kept working at it and it started to fly. It's so exciting because you can't wait to see for the other students to read it because you know how you experienced it. Like, whoa, this is so great, and to hear and so it's such a strange thing because the low is so low, but there's no greater high in terms of the teaching of this particular topic. So
And that's why we teach too, right? To have those highs, to see the kids, you know,
yeah.
when you see that they got it, oh, it feels great for sure.
Yes. So it was a good week, and we are going to take some time off, I think, this week because we are thankful and we are, celebrating Thanksgiving.
Yeah, very
So
good.
maybe we'll see them in a couple of weeks.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks, guys, and enjoy
We'll be
your
back.
Thanksgiving week. Yeah,
Don't be
we'll be back.
sad. There's a backlog of videos you can go and look at.
Yeah,
We're up to like 90 or something like that. So,
yeah. Take a look.
okay. We'll see you next time, gang. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye.